friends, today I'm going to do a project and it's going to be Maori art. So I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Maori, Maori art for New Zealand, and I've been kind of researching it, and I'm going to use a few little ideas of things, different pieces that I've seen and different symbols, and just try to do it a little bit of justice, but to represent the Maori art from New Zealand. So I'm just going to do a small canvas because I'm not very familiar with the different symbols. I mean, I think you'd have to be around it all the time to know. But I've been looking them up and trying to figure out what I want to do. I think I'm going to kind of wing it, but I'm going to try to put a kiwi bird in there. Oops, I got gesso everywhere. And I'm going to do that. So that's one thing I know I want to put in my work here. And some different, I'm going to kind of play with it. I'm going to play with it and see what comes out of my head and try to represent it as much as possible and go from there. Of course, I'm not Maori or from New Zealand, but it's just using the inspiration from there, and just like I did with everywhere else. I'm just kind of looking it up and trying to do the best I can to represent what I've kind of researched. So that's where I'm going with that. I got a lot of gesso on here. That's okay. In fact, I have a few other pieces I could just throw some gesso on. So I'm going to just throw some gesso on cards to kind of use it up. So I'm just going to kind of go with it. I've got an angle brush here. Actually, I'm going to use my good angle brush, I think. Just trying to figure out what I want to do. Okay, so it's kind of like, what do I want to do? I'm kind of going with it and just, I'm just going to kind of wing it and start. And I know I'm going color, but I've seen some colored painting, so I'm just going to go and do my own kind of thing with it. And hopefully just take my time and do a little painting that will represent New Zealand. And I'm just going to do some really nice kind of swirls here. I might need a smaller brush for this. Let's see here what I have. So I'm kind of just playing with it and just like, what do I want to do? Here's a smaller brush. So I got a few ideas, and I'm just going to kind of combine a few ideas, I think, to what I want. So it's going to be like that, just a combination of a few ideas. And so they got lots of beautiful swirls and natural things like that, and I just love it. So, and I was looking at symbols and stuff like that as well, but so what I'm going to do is just going to do a bunch of little beautiful swirls and try to do a kiwi bird as well at some point. I'd like to. And yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with a little bit of teal. I'm just playing with it, guys, so I'm just kind of mixing some colors kind of together, but seeing how it looks, and hopefully it works. So these are beautiful swirls, and they're, if you notice ferns grow in these beautiful swirls. In New Zealand, I'm guessing they have huge, beautiful ferns. In here in Manitoba, they grow really nice and wild in the woods there. Manitoba, Ontario border. And I've seen them in BC as well. And I've only been a little bit in BC, a little bit by the sycamoose and all that. But my friend who is from New Zealand, she says they're just huge out there. I couldn't even imagine. So some of the beautiful plants that she was telling me about, I think it was hibiscus. I think it's one of her favorites, and they had a bush, or a big bush of them in her yard. So I'm just going to kind of paint this up like this and just really have fun with it and do some swirls, and I'm going to add some greens and stuff like that. And I'm thinking that at some point I do want to add a kiwi symbol type of thing of the Maori. I'm sorry if I say it wrong, guys. And add that in there. So I'm going on a small scale. I was like, first I was like, I could maybe do bigger, but when I'm not too sure, I'll go small and just, play with it and practice. But it's fun to be inspired by other places, so there's a lot of swirls in their art, and they do lots, like I think the main thing is their carvings and stuff like that too for their buildings. And I think that their drawings and that mostly were, well, tattoos, right? And stuff like that. And then now they have lots of artists that are making art. That's pretty cool. And they have symbols for all the animals. They're kind of ways to paint them. Didn't realize it until I was looking it up. My girlfriend told me about them, but not, a few things here and there. And there we go. I'm just playing with it, guys. I'm not even sure how it's looking. I'm kind of just trying to imagine something. Probably should have been in green too, because it kind of looks like a fern, but so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to keep painting, and I'm going to put the video on music, speed it up through. So I think I'm done. I might have a little highlights here and there. But I feel like I am pretty done besides the highlighting. Yeah. This is, I kind of invented the kiwi bird. I had to curl his little beak a little bit more, but I kind of invented him. I kind of went by the head by what I've seen drawings of the Maori art, but I invented his body and kind of his feet, and they look a little more clawy than they should. I'm going to see if I can fix that. And I don't know what else. Just like I said, I'm going to highlight a few things here. I kind of want this little highlighted, like add some depth. And I think I'm pretty much done. A few little pieces here and there. I kind of mixed a few little ideas in, and it's got a New Zealand feel. I know it's not exactly authentic, of course. I'm not, you know, but I'm trying just to get inspired and use some of the techniques or some of the looks anyways to add to my work. And learn about other people and other people's cultures, and that's kind of the whole idea of this traveling around and doing finding things that inspire you in other people's works and arts around the world. So yeah, that's where I'm going with this. And so yeah, I'm just highlighting a few spots here and there just to make them pop a bit more. And yeah, I think I'm pretty much done with this guy, with this painting. I hope you guys like it. And yeah, give it a try. So this is something I found in another painting. This kind of, it was nice and brown and different things, this symbol of whatever. And so I just kind of added it. And so that's why I have it there. And I'm just kind of adding bits and pieces. And I think I'm going to leave the rest like that. I don't think I have anything else I want to add. And if I do, I'm just going to go like around with the white here on this, and I think that's about it. So I hope you guys like this project, and don't forget to crap like a duck, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. So I know I said goodbye. I'm thinking I'm going to ink a little bit. I know it's not New Zealand, but I want to put a little bit of ink on here. And I kind of went over there. So doing that, I don't know why, but I felt like I really wanted to do that. So just kind of making it going over the edge there. I know it's not part of the art, but I just thought I want to add a little more to it. The white, maybe it was just too white in the background. I don't know, guys. Hopefully I'm not ruining it. I think I am. No. Yeah, I might be. Just might be. I'm gonna throw a little bit of alcohol right there just to get that smudge off. It slid. Well, it's not quite what I wanted. Not quite what I wanted, but it's still there. It's still mixed media, mixed stuff. Just doing the edges now. I was going to put just a little bit, but didn't suit it just a little bit, so I'm just putting it over now. It was too white and crisp. That is it now, though, guys. There we go. Fix a little spots here and there where I have ink. And I think Cora's dropping things over there.
I hit my head on the bucket.
There we go. So just a little alcohol going over it here with a few spots where I got some stamp over, but there it is. A little bit different. I just had to add, it was too crispy white, so I had to add something to the back. Okay guys, I hope you like it. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Bye.